Well, good morning, everyone. How are you? Once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. And we want to say hello to a few of our friends here. And who's number one on the hit parade this morning? Brahim. Mike from Norland. You two guys, I hope you get to know each other someday. Andrea, Niagara Falls. Lori Lee, Ventura, California. And Brahim is from Portland, Oregon. Kevin, how are you? Mary. Francis Marie. Wendy, good morning from Markham. Marilyn, Edmonton. Linda, St. Jude, Quebec. Nellie, good morning. Nick from our staff. Donna, Park Hill. Yolande, bonjour. And Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Wanda, how are you? Vera, Newfoundland. And Cheryl, good morning. And Dale, how are you? Karen, Peterborough. And Tracy. And Diane from Thunder Bay. Good morning. Joni, Alliston. And June, I think, or Julie. Wendy. And Donna from Newfoundland. You get bonjour. And Arlene, how are you? And Lori from Alberta. Fran from Tilsonburg. Jean, good morning. Nice to have you on with us this morning. Sherry from Mississauga. Giselle, bonjour. Beverly, good morning. And Marcia from Mexico. Laurie from Niagara Falls. Gary from Bolton, and it's raining. Donna, Bell Valley. Dave, Muskoka. And Deb from Timmins. Good morning. Deb from Detroit, Michigan. And Yvonne from Petawawa. A couple more. Sylvie, how are you? From North Bay. Bonnie, good morning. And Denise, Kansas City. And Nativity. April. Louise from Cornwall. Sonia. And one more. And I don't know if that was another Louise or not. Okay. Carol, what does Dr. Martin think of IV nutrient drips to boost the adrenal glands or from adrenal fatigue? I like it. I like IV therapy. Especially if someone has cancer, I think it should be, I really believe that medicine, and they want to do their chemo and that, and listen, that's a person's choice. Oncologists, that's what they do. But I really worked with an oncologist one time, Dr. Falk, and he would do the best of both worlds and really, really believed in IV therapy. I really think there's a lot of good medicine that's being missed because of, especially in therapeutics. I talked to you about the other vitamin C, okay? The real vitamin C is coffee, but the other vitamin C is ascorbic acid. I'm not against it. The only time I really like it in terms of therapeutics is when it's IV. Because in order to get the vitamin C that really is good for you, you can't swallow it. You have to get it in IV. So for the adrenal gland, yeah, I like it. I would, I have a real good protocol for adrenal fatigue. and which doesn't include IV, but I'm not against IV at all, okay? IV, nutrient drip, glutathione, I like it. If someone has cancer, I would say get IV therapy for sure. Add vitamin C and glutathione minimum. And anyway, yeah, thanks for the question. Carol, Sherilyn, what does Dr. Martin think of shea butter? Well, I like it. I have a great grandson named Shea. So I call him Shea Butterball. He's very, very cute. So that's Tony Jr., Dr. Martin Jr.'s grandson, my great-grandson. Shea. No, I like shea butter. Yeah, it comes from the seed and from the tree, and I like it. Sure. I like Rivera better, but that's just me. Okay. Debbie, any advice on how to treat granuloma annulare? Well, that is, when you see those bumps on the skin, anything on the skin, start at the gut. So how I treated that over the years was they had leaky gut 100%. They usually had a real infestation of fungus, candida. They were full of it. No one knew. They didn't know. No one told them. And I would start in the gut. The other thing is parasites. And again, I start in the gut. How do they get into your tissue and whatever? And that's why I like oil of oregano. It's why I like broad spectrum probiotics. And start healing the leaky gut. I like bone broth. But any advice at all would be to Debbie would be to look at the gut, because that's originally where it comes from. Ginny, can you talk about mitochondrial boosting MCTs, which is a medium chain triglyceride? And look, if you get coconut oil, palm oil, these things are exogenous ketones, okay? They're metabolized in the liver. You know what? Look, there was a big craze, how many years ago? 10? On exogenous ketones. Oh, you're going to lose weight. You're going to feel better. And look, I've never been that big on it, to be honest with you. I like ketosis, obviously. I like when you go on the reset and your body is now burning fat as a fuel, much better for you. But to add anything, a lot of people that, they used to do, what was that coffee? Where they put the medium chain fatty acid triglyceride into the coffee and with butter and what they call that coffee? I can't even remember now. And a lot of people had digestive trouble with it. I wasn't against it. Bulletproof coffee. Thank you. Bulletproof coffee. Okay. I just like my coffee, okay? No, you can do it. I'm not against it. I'm not. But you know what? Are you going to get, everything, when anything tells you it fixes things from pimples on your nose to warts on your toes, run. Okay? Because there's all sorts of marketing out there. And when it is the greatest thing since sliced bread, I'm very skeptical. Okay? I'm very skeptical. Now, I like oil. I do. Okay? I like olive oil. I like bacon better. Same oil. Okay? But I like it. I like coconut oil. I do. Okay? Somebody asked me the other day, do you like, Dr. Martin, coconut milk? Yeah, I got no problem with that. Okay? Certainly better. I don't even want you drinking milk. But if you insist, well, coconut milk, I got no problem with that. Okay? Now, not all the additives and all, make sure it's pure coconut milk. I like it, but, okay, you don't need to be drinking any milk. How did I get on that anyway? Oh yeah, Ginny was asking about mitochondria boosting MCTs. Nah, don't believe that so much. It really doesn't make that much of a difference at the mitochondria. I'll tell you what does. You want to change your mitochondria? You want to get more ATP? Then you get on ubiquinol. That's the one that really does it. CoQ10, ubiquinol. Okay, thank you for the question, Jenny. Brenda, for someone who is allergic to fish, what are some of the good sources of DHA? Well, the best source of DHA, even higher than fish, is grass-fed beef. Has more DHA than fish. Now, I love fish oil. I eat fish every day in a capsule because I take high DHA capsules. I take a therapeutic dose. I want to preserve my brain. I want to lubricate everything because that's what DHA does. Your brain's made up of DHA. Isn't it a good idea to replace that DHA? Eyes, eyeballs, and circulation, DHA. There's no oil like it. But if you eat grass-fed beef, okay, now steak has it. If you can get a grass-fed steak, beef, even better in terms of the amount of DHA. So if you are allergic to fish, okay, Brenda, yeah, I'm not allergic to it. I don't like eating it. I like taking fish in a capsule, okay? Because the DHA in our capsules is so, look, it is so therapeutic. And secondly, it's pharmaceutical grade, meaning that there's a real pristine process to take that, to make that amount of DHA from fish oil, to filter it properly. And, that's why it's so therapeutic. But I love DHA. I love EPA too, but DHA is better. And you don't get DHA and you don't get EPA in the plant kingdom. It's not found there. It's in the animal kingdom. Okay, thank you for asking the question, Brenda. Kathy, what do you think of restoring the gut microbiome via fecal microbiota transplants? Well, look, Kathy, I like the idea. They're not there yet, okay? Like a fecal transplant, the only thing that it's really approved for now is if they can't get rid of C. difficile, okay? Which is a very antibiotic resistant bacteria. Like C. difficile kills people. And there's some fecal transplants, and this is where they take a healthy person and they put their poop and they transplant it into an unhealthy person. That's what fecal transplants, microbiome. I like it. I think they're just at the start of the therapeutic value of it. I think in autoimmune, I think there would be lots of things, but they're not there yet. And, like I said, there's very few places that do it. And the FDA and Health Canada are very, very leery of it. And so it's limited right now. I think it's got a lot of potential. And listen, in the meantime, one thing we know, if you have broad spectrum probiotics, That means you got over 10 different strains. The strains of bacteria do different things, okay? That you got Acidophilus, you got Bifidus, you got all sorts of Rhamnosus and L. reuteri, and the ones that I love, I put in a capsule, and it is tremendous therapeutically. But I'm waiting to see what's going to happen with fecal transplants. And like I said, I think there's a lot of potential there. They're just not there yet, okay? Chantal, for heavyweight resistant training, does it matter what kind of proteins I should be eating? For example, proteins like lean chicken, egg whites, proteins with fat like steak. Yeah, all of the above. All of the above. And I like whey protein. Like if you're going to make a shake, I obviously like collagen protein. That is bone broth. I like those proteins. Okay, so the question is, what does it matter? And look, all of those are good. I like proteins because somebody else, wait a minute, let me just see if I can get this. Oh yeah, that was last week. Remember? Cachava. I thought I answered it, but I didn't really know much about it. I Googled it and looked it up. Someone was asked, that's a protein powder, but it comes from the plant kingdom. I'm not crazy about that kind of plant. I don't particularly like plant proteins. Why? Their bioavailability is limited. 1. 2, they don't have all the amino acids. They don't have all the essential amino acids in them. Look, plants are wonderful, guys. Okay? Plants are good. Animal kingdom, far superior. When it comes to protein, animal protein. That's why I'd say don't ditch dairy, switch dairy. I love dairy. Dairy's good. Animal protein. Eggs, meat, cheese. I like bone broth protein. I like whey. Some people, whey bothers them. That's a dairy protein. Okay? But guys, I love that stuff. Okay, thank you very much. And that was, okay, and hold on, let me just make sure I get this right. Cachava, who asked about that? Chaz. Okay, so I'm not big on it. To be honest with you, it's a plant protein. I wouldn't waste my money, in my opinion, okay? You're asking me, so I got to tell you what I think, okay? And Chantal, just to finish answering your question, Chantal, should I be eating carbs for weight training? No, you don't have to. I mean, you can. I'm not saying no carbs. The only time I say no carbs is on the reset. But you don't need carbs. You need protein, you need fat. You don't need carbs. You can live very well without them. So you don't need it for weight training. Look, when you're doing a lot of training, okay, you're building bins. So now when you empty these, you got more room. That's why you could have more carbs, but you don't need those carbs. You don't need them, okay? But you can have them. Don't eat crappy food, that's all, but you can have fruits and vegetables. I got no problem with that. Don't live on them. That's what I tell people. They're not meant to live on them. Fruit are God's candies. Enjoy, but don't live on them. Don't live on the plant kingdom. You're making a big mistake if you do. And don't live on bread and pasta and rice and cereals and sugar, sweets, pastry, juice, milk, muffins, bagels. Don't live on that stuff. It ain't good for you. Okay. Chantal, thank you for the question. Andy, peripheral artery disease. Well, I thought I answered that last week. But here's what I do, okay? You elevate that nitric oxide. That's why I love Navitol. And I would have you on, if you were a former patient or whatever, I'd have you on high DHA. Lubrication, blood supply, cut out the sugar. Sugars will destroy your blood vessels. So high DHA, Navitol. What does Navitol do? Whoop, opens up your blood vessels. Nitric oxide. There's nothing better than Navitol for nitric oxide. Okay, thank you, Andy. Carolyn, I started taking 4 drops of your vitamin D daily. You're very smart, okay, Caroline. How long should I wait to show in my blood work? Well, probably I would, I don't know when the last time you had it, and if you just started taking the vitamin D, 4 to 6 weeks, okay, 4 to 6 weeks. You can get it measured. It will go up. That's guaranteed. Now, where you were before, that's the question that, Caroline, I would, if you have comparisons. If you do, send it to me. I'll comment on it. Okay? And you need to optimize vitamin D, by the way. So, Caroline, if you're taking 4 drops, good for you. I take 8. Okay. Daniela, the hospital doctors say that if I overburden my gallbladder on high-fat protein diet, it becomes inflamed and develops stones. Eventually will have to be removed. True? False? That's not true. Now, listen. If you already have stones, okay? Listen, here's how you get stones. 99.9% of the time. Your gallbladder, you use it or you lose it. Okay? So people that get gallstones is because they don't use their gallbladder. Your gallbladder is a little reservoir for bile. Your gallbladder don't make bile, your liver makes bile. But it's a reservoir. So when you eat fat, your gallbladder empties the bile into your small intestine to absorb. It's like dish soap. It emulsifies the fat so that you can pick that up. If you don't use it, listen, I've done several podcasts on this. Okay? Why do we see so much trouble with gallbladders, and why is it mainly women? Because women don't use their gallbladders because they think that fat makes them fat. So they eat everything fat-free. You should have seen me in the 80s. Fat-free yogurt, fat-free this, fat-free that. You go to the grocery store still today. Oh, low-fat cheese. Yikes. Use it or lose it. I said that about the stomach. Your stomach, you're a human being. You're meant to eat steak. When you don't, your pH in your stomach changes. It starts to climb up. And that's not good. You're meant to have a very acidic stomach. Your gallbladder is meant for fat. God gave you a gallbladder, use it. So what the doctor said is not true. It's the opposite. Now, like I said, if I have a patient, a former patient, that had gallbladder issues and stones, I would say, okay, now listen, now you've got to cut back on fat. Be careful. Okay? Until we fix. And I don't want you to eat at night. One of the best things you can do for your gallbladder is go on like a intermittent fasting and don't eat at night. Give your digestive tract lots of hours to do its job. So if you stop eating at 6 o'clock, don't eat till at least 10 o'clock the next day. Noon even better. It allows the digestive tract to do its job. Your gallbladder will start to heal itself. Now, the other reason I've got to say it, because women, you're from another planet, okay? No, men are. Ladies, when you have low progesterone, okay, low progesterone, that affects the smooth muscle of your gallbladder, okay? It also affects the smooth muscle of your uterus, the smooth muscle of your bladder, and that's why women are much more susceptible to descending bladder and uterus. So that's a factor. But the fact that when you don't consume fat, your gallbladder, the stones, you're not emptying that bile, and bile becomes concentrated, and then it develops stones in there. It's meant to be used, okay? Use it or lose it. Thank you for the question, Daniela, okay? John, what are my thoughts on cupping? Again, look, I got no problem. Cupping is the idea that you get, it helps the blood supply to the area that's being cupped, right? They put the cup down, and then, it pulls up the skin, and then you get a little bit more blood supply. Again, if someone tells you that cupping is the greatest thing since sliced bread, run, 'cause it ain't. Okay? I'm not against it. Okay? I'm not against it. But it's limited, in my opinion. Okay? Yeah. It's all right. You got somebody going to cup, especially in the shoulder or the hip, because I call them avascular. There's very little blood supply there. There's very little blood supply in the shoulder, very little blood supply in the hip. Okay? And they're called avascular joints. So if cupping helps that, I got no problem with it. Is it the be all and end all? Nope. It's certainly not. Okay? Okay. Thanks, John. Louise, I've been on many resets. What causes brain fog? Louise, I'm going to tell you what causes brain fog. Stress. The number one cause of brain fog is high cortisol. It's stress. It's not the reset. The reset is, hallelujah, is so good for you. Okay? But when people have brain fog, one of the biggest causes, for sure, is high cortisol. Okay? High cortisol. Brain fog, high cortisol, almost invariably. Okay? Thank you, Louise. We appreciate it. Donna, fainting spells. Well, a lot of things can cause fainting spells. Syncope. Low blood pressure. You can get that orthostatic one. You stand up real quick and your blood pressure goes down and you can faint. And the sight of blood. I know people, they see blood, they faint. And the life of the flesh is in the blood. No, they see that, they faint. Some people, they more susceptible to it. They have a vagus, not Las Vegas, but the vagus nerve impingement, the 10th cranial nerve. That can be a problem. Okay? Pain. Okay? Inflammation, whatever. That can cause fainting spells. Donna, thank you. Tay, what is Dr. Martin's advice for low kidney function? Well, lay off the sugars. The world will tell you to lay off protein. It's the opposite. Eat more protein. Eat more fat. Eat eggs, meat, and cheese every day. Have bacon and eggs for breakfast, and your kidneys will go, hallelujah, thank you. Okay? Because kidneys love that. What they don't like is sugar. And here's my 100% proof. Ask a diabetic. Kidneys in deep trouble. Okay? Sugar destroys kidneys, not salt and not protein. Don't blame salt for what sugar did. Sugar is so destructive to your kidney. Other things too, of course, but it's blood supply. And that's what sugar does. It destroys. And that's why you get so many kids. If you have low kidney function, the last thing you want to do is eat any sugar at all. You should be on the reset. Thank you very much, Tay. Okay? And drink lots of water. H2O, Niagara Falls. Think of Niagara Falls. Go there at 2 in the morning. Water is flowing. At 2 in the morning? Yeah, they don't turn it off. You need water 24 hours. No, the only time you don't need water is when you're sleeping. But drink water, 2 liters a day minimum. Okay? 64 ounces for my American friends. That is guaranteed to help you. Okay, well, we're getting a question about water. Is it true that lemon in water will leach minerals from the bones? Absolutely no. It's not a silly question, Sandy, because I'm glad you bring it out. People have this mistaken idea, okay, that coffee, that'll leach minerals from your bones. You know how many times? I've been hearing that for 50 years. And I said, no, that's not true. Where did you hear that? Well, my doctor or my nutritionist or my friend or on social media told me that. Well, they're wrong. Lemon water is good for you. Okay? Put a little touch of lemon in your water. Good for you. I like it. Okay? So, it ain't going to leach no minerals from your bones, Sandy. Kathy, my bottom lip is starting to quiver. It's been happening for a few months. Is it a sign of Parkinson's? Well, look, you want to get it checked out, okay? You want to get it checked out, usually, okay? This is just me, Kathy. Whenever I saw anything around the mouth, inside the mouth, anything, quiver, funny feeling, paresthesia, B12. That's the first thing to check. Okay? So check that out. But listen, it's never a bad idea. If there's Parkinson's, not that it's necessarily genetic, but not a bad idea to get it checked out. I'm not against that. Chaz, I answered your question about Kachava. Sue, I've been on the reset since May. Well, good for you, Sue. Wondering why I still have huge stools. Well, that's you, Sue. I talked about this the other day, didn't I? Okay? Huge stools are overrated. Fiber is overrated. Okay? It's a sponge. It will suck up all the water in your body. I'm not big on fiber. I'm big on coffee. I'm big on water. That's your fiber, guys. Drink coffee and water. Best thing you can do for your bowel. Best. Okay? And you still, Kathy, are getting a larger stool. Good for you. I can't give you a prize, though. There's no prize for a large stool. Most people, though, Sue. Most, okay? You're an exception. And you guys, any doctor doesn't understand that we all have a different fingerprint. We're all different. There's 8 billion people on the planet. Did you know that? We're not at 7 anymore. We're at 8 billion. Okay? And each of us, fearfully and wonderfully made, different. Okay? And the vast majority of people, when they go on the reset, and they eat very low carb or no carb at all, their stool, there's very little waste. Okay? There's very little waste. And the vast majority of them, they say, well, doc, I think I'm constipated. I said, you're in bad pain? Are you bloated? And no, it's just that I'm so used to going to the bathroom every day, 3 times a day or whatever. I said, I know your body's changing because you change fuel and it's actually very good for you. But Sue, you're unique. Okay? You're unique. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. You're doing the right thing. Okay? Nice question. Thank you, Sue. Lorna, I have thyroid nodules. What should I do? Well, okay. Thyroid nodules, think about this. There's 2 things that will make them grow. Insulin and estrogen. Get them down. Get insulin down. You know how to do that. Do the reset. And once you're done the reset, go low carb. Make it a lifestyle because insulin is a growth hormone. So is estrogen for men and women, especially women. Thyroid nodules, estrogen. You're too much of a woman. You don't have enough progesterone compared to your estrogen. That's a problem. Fix that problem. Elevate your progesterone, okay? And decrease the estrogen, okay? Now the good news, our hormonal formula is coming very shortly. We just got an update on it. Because people ask me all the time, in the meantime, even if you have thyroid nodules, what I would have you do every day, flax seeds. I'm not big on seeds. I'm not big on nuts. You're not a squirrel, nor a chipmunk. But I do like flax seeds. Scientifically, why? They have 100 times more estrogen blockers than any other seed or nut. Okay, got it? Okay, thank you. Okay, Lorna. Linda, what causes constant diarrhea? Probably parasites. Lorna, probably parasites. Your body's trying to get rid of them. Could be a bacteria, but it could be yeast. But when I see constant diarrhea, you got parasites. You got a cat? Quit sleeping with it. I used to tell my patients, okay? I had 2 cat stories. One, if you were diabetic. Because they said, I told you that story, right? Real quickly. Lady come into the office and she had allergies, really bad. And I said, well, do you know what you're allergic to? She said, my cat. I said, well, get rid of it. I can't. I said, well, I can't help you. That's diabetes. You have an allergy to carbs, get rid of them. Okay? Now, the other thing cats do is they give you parasites. You know why? They lick their butt. So quit sleeping with them and don't kiss them. And oil of oregano, probiotics. Oil of oregano, probiotics. You want to kill those parasites? Oil of oregano, probiotic. Takes time too. Because parasites, they don't even just live in your gut. They spread. They go everywhere. They'll get into your brain even. Okay, thank you, Linda. Angel, okay. What is the number you like for fasting insulin? Well, it depends what measurement you're using. And sometimes the measurement is under 5. Sometimes the measurement is under 8. But listen, okay, I just got to tell you, I don't mind fasting insulin. What I like better is A1C. For metabolic syndrome, I like better A1C. If it's 5.4 or higher, you got to be careful because now you're into insulin resistance, okay? So fasting insulin, low, obviously. Okay, Henna, recovery 4 months bed rest. Holy moly, Henna, you must have been sick as a dog. Muscles atrophied with inflammation. And what are my thoughts on boran or boron and glucosamine? Well, like that ain't gonna fix you. Eggs, meat, and cheese is better than that. Look, I don't mind glucosamine. Okay, I don't mind it, but it ain't gonna fix muscle atrophy. You need protein, my dear. You need eggs, meat, and cheese. You should be making yourself a shake, Henna, of Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie cream, heavy, plus bone broth protein. Because that collagen is going to help your muscles in pain more than anything else. Okay, thank you for the question. We appreciate. Kelly, what's the difference between black pepper extract in Martin Clinic Curcumin and other brands? I don't know. I just use the best. I don't know what they use. I'll tell you about our curcumin though. It is the most bioavailable curcumin that, because look, remember when I use curcumin in my office, I better get results. I had to get results. What do you think patients would think of me if I didn't get results with them? Right? I had a reputation. I need to fix. I'd get to the root issue. If I put a person on curcumin, I wanted to make sure with the best curcumin available, the best bioavailable. And one thing I know about pepper, if you don't use black pepper with curcumin, it's not absorbed as much. We've proven that our curcumin is absorbed sometimes up to 2,000 times more than other curcumin on the market. And we've had it tested. And I got clinical results with it. Okay, thanks for the question, Kelly. I didn't want to toot my horn too much. Steve, recovering from stroke, done the reset, lost 2 stone. How much is 2 stone in the United Kingdom, in Canada? Okay, I got to watch some more BritBox. Okay, good for you, Steve. Still got ache in my wrist and fingers. Get on the curcumin. You're in the United Kingdom? Try and find a real high quality curcumin. I like curcumin, okay? I really like it. Turmeric is a great powder. It's a spice. But it's not that bioavailable. You need curcumin, the extract of that, to be bioavailable. Thank you, Steve. Okay? If you can find anyone that in the United Kingdom that has pine bark extract, I like that. Okay? I like pine bark extract for inflammation too. Vince, beetroot powder. Best way to nitric oxide. See, here I am talking about nitric oxide. I'd say, Vince, it doesn't even compare. I know there's a lot of marketing about beetroot. Okay, I like it. But I'll tell you what's far better, proven, is pine bark extract. Okay, pine bark extract. It's the highest form of, I'm going to say the wrong word. It is the highest source to elevate your nitric oxide is pine bark extract. That's why I love it. It's better than grapeseed extract. I'm not saying any of those things are beets. You see that? Oh, beets. Yeah, I like it. But you know what's really good for nitric oxide too is B12. B12. Better than beet powder. B12. I'm looking at my B12 right there in my little dish. I haven't had it yet. Okay, thank you, Vince. Helen, my husband is a sugar diabetic. You called it right, Helen. He is a sugar diabetic. They don't call it that anymore because they don't want to, the sugar industry's powerful lobby. Okay, powerful lobby. Okay. How do you feel about him having a snack at night before bed? Well, if he doesn't need it, I wouldn't have it. You know, some diabetics, if they're not under control, If he a reset guy, he is giving up a lot with the reset on the reset for a year. He's not giving up a lot. He's gaining a lot. He's gaining his health. Here's the answer. I just said it, but I'll say it again. Repetition. When you are a sugar diabetic, you got trouble with carbs. As simple as that. If your husband wants to have a snack, then he should have a piece of cheese or an egg or protein, animal protein, and not sugar. He doesn't need carbs. He's allergic to carbs. Him and carbs don't get along. They have a bad relationship. He's not really missing out on anything. It's because we're surrounded by food and there's noodles and pasta and rice and cereals and all that. But he's allergic to that. I know it ain't easy. And you give your husband a high five for me if he'd done the reset for a year. The best thing that ever happened to him. Okay. And you're asking about nighttime digestion. Yeah, it's best not to eat at night. Now look, if he's finding his sugars are not being controlled, okay, but otherwise he's not missing anything. Lois, okay, we're almost there, guys. Okay, Lois. Oh yeah, okay, Lois is asking about cheese with natamycin. You know what that is? That is a bacteria. It's fermented, and that sort of protects your cheese. It's good for you. I'm not against that. Okay? They do it so you won't get mold in your cheese. And it's a fermented, fermentation. It's bacteria. It's all right. It's like a natural antibiotic. Thania, hip pain. Thania started having hip pain when she stopped the birth control pill. I have low estrogen. You really don't. Okay, Thania? You really don't. You have an imbalance between estrogen and progesterone. Okay? You really don't have low estrogen. Okay? You need a balance between estrogen and progesterone. The hip pain, you stop the birth control pill. Remember, there's a mountain load of side effects with the birth control pill. Okay? I would have you on our, depending, I don't know where you're at, but I would definitely flax seeds, block extra estrogen, and elevate your progesterone. That's why our menopausal formula, I love that. It ups that progesterone level. Okay? So, Kathy, okay, we're almost done. In Thursday's podcast, Dr. Martin talked about statins destroying the mitochondria, muscles, and nerves. Unfortunately, I've been on statin 33 years. Want to know, does he literally mean destroyed? Well, there's always possibility for repair. You're fearfully and wonderfully made, Kathy. Get on CoQ10. And if you're off the statins, whether you're off or on, I don't particularly like statins, but I'm not telling you, Kathy, to get off them. Okay? I won't do that. You got to do that with your doctor. But I'm not big on them. And if you get me your numbers, I'd like to see what your triglycerides are in that. Okay? Kathy, can you explain the importance of extra salt when on the reset? Kathy, I am going to do the salt question again, but I'm not going to do it today because I think I want to do a little bit of a deep dive. I'm just making notes. Talk about salt, okay? And we'll do that. Maybe even as early as Monday, although I have a couple of stories. Yeah, look, your body's changing, so your salt, as your body changes, it flips from burning carbs to fat. Your salt, your electrolytes are really, really important, okay? And for some people more than others, but generally you need electrolytes. So let me go into that and talk about that in greater detail, okay? because I thank you for the question, Kathy. Okay? A lot of Kathys. Okay, one's with a C and the other one's with a K. Guys, we love you. Great questions. We appreciate it. I hope you appreciate this time, okay? You usually get really great feedback. You love those question and answers. We appreciate it, guys. We love you. We'll talk to you soon.